Hey guys, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics. I'm here with some horrible news. Obviously, a lot of this is still breaking, and none of this information, will stay the same likely in the coming hours. But there have been multiple gunshot victims as a result of a school shooting in an elementary school in San Bernardino, California. As according to NBC News, 4 people are being treated for their injuries, including 2 students. They were shot in a murder-suicide inside of a San Bernardino classroom. The students were transported to a hospital, but their conditions were not immediately clear. At around 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, the gunfire erupted, according to campus police. The San Bernardino police chief, Jared Berguan, said, "We believe this to be a murder-suicide. It happened in a classroom. 2 students have been transported to the hospital." A little bit later, police reported that the current threat at North Park Elementary School has been neutralized. It is believed that the shooter has died. We don't know if it was by his own hand or by the police. The names and ages of the 4 people involved are not immediately known, but one of those treated at the hospital right now is believed to be a teacher. But 2 of those treated are students. That's what we know really so far. Again, like as I'm telling you all of this, the news is erupting. I can't really give you all the definitive information, but it's now being reported by the New York Times. Actually, I'm just seeing this, that 2 adults were shot dead in the classroom. So 2 have officially died, and they were adults. What is horribly ironic about this is that obviously in 2015 there was a shooting in San Bernardino, and that while, that was claimed to be a terrorist attack by many on the right, despite the fact, but because there were Muslim people involved in that San Bernardino shooting, this is also a terrorist attack. It's also chilling and ironic that it is another shooting at an elementary school. When Sandy Hook occurred, that was perhaps as horrific of an event that could ever happen in the United States, with all of those children dying, and yet we were still unable to get gun legislation passed during that time. We now have a president who has received this amount of money from the NRA. Donald Trump was given $30.3 million in the 2016 election by the National Rifle Association, and they basically emptied out their pockets for him. They were very excited about Donald Trump. The NRA's largest 2016 outlay was the $30.3 million that it spent in support of Trump. The biggest other people that they contributed, just to have it on the record, Richard Burr of North Carolina, they gave him $6.3 million. Next is Marco Rubio of Florida. Let's see how he responds with $3.2 million. Roy Blunt, $3 million. Todd Young, $2.8 million. Joe Heck, $2.5 million. And Rob Portman, $2.2 million. So let's be extra aware of how they respond to what's going on in San Bernardino. So it just goes to show how out of control the gun epidemic is in our country when, one, we have another elementary school being shot up, and again, another mass shooting in an area that has already experienced a mass shooting. So now, when you have the pundits on TV saying that Trump is presidential because he sent Tomahawk missiles over to Syria, will they say the same thing when he doesn't, predictably, have a response, an adequate response, by introducing legislation to curb the kinds of shootings that are happening in San Bernardino, where elementary school students are fearing for their lives and could be killed? We know that 2 adults are dead by the hand of this shooter. Will the mainstream media say he's either presidential or non-presidential based on that response? When I went live on this video, both CNN and MSNBC were talking about the infighting in Trump's cabinet as opposed to what's going on here. Children murdered today. Think about that. in this country. And we could do something about it. 93% of Americans back at the end of 2015, according to Quinnipiac, supported universal background checks for all gun buyers. That was Quinnipiac, not known as a liberal pollster, back in 2015. That was really kind of taken after the Umpqua community college shooting when that was in Oregon. I mean, you can barely keep track. So we shall see how Donald Trump responds, but based on that $30 million in cash from the NRA, I'm not sure that we'll be pleased with the response. And if there is any indication for how broken our democracy is that when 93% of registered voters say that they support universal background checks for gun buyers, and we can't get that through our Congress, how stark is that? How much? How does that show? How that shows our democracy is broken? I'm sorry, I'm stammering a little, but it's such a barometer. It's such an indication for how our representatives don't represent us at all. And you know what? That lack of representation has dire consequences. Deathly consequences. Murderous consequences. Like today. But just take that money and then go to sleep at night. I should stop because, All right, we'll keep you updated as this news breaks.